Hello friends and strangers. When I was a kid, I had some pretty crazy ideas about how life and the world works, because everything's just this great big mystery and you have to come up with your own answers because let's face it, no one's really going to tell you how babies are made. And so here's a list of some pretty crazy theories that I thought up when I was younger. Number one, I've just written the word bommy knockers. That sounded really dirty, didn't it? You know those machines? I think they're actually called wrecking balls that people use to knock down buildings, etc, etc. Back when I was young, me and my brother called them bommy knockers because the little ball on the end looked like a bomb and it knocked things down. Seemed pretty legit and logical to me. The trouble was that I actually thought that that was what they were called, and people would be like, what the hell is a bommy knocker? And I'm like, you know what a bommy knocker is? It's that thing that knocks down buildings. And they'd be like, right. And no one thought to actually correct me until I was much older in life. Bommy knockers. Sounds like a pair of... You know what it sounds like. Number two on the list is how I thought babies were made. Because no one really explains to you how babies are made when you're like 4 years old, you have to kind of make up your own answer. My mum watched a lot of soap operas when I was a kid, and people were always talking about how sleeping together equals babies. And so that's how I made my mind up. I had the idea that if a man and a woman went to sleep in the same bed together, a baby would just pop out 9 months later. Don't go to sleep in the same bed, kids. You will get pregnant and then you will die. And this is why I thought that my parents would not sleep in the same bed together. Turns out my parents don't like to share a room because my mum snores and my dad hogs the duvet. So yeah, turns out I was wrong. The next one on my list is the story of how I found out Santa wasn't real. My childhood was ruined. When I was young, of course I believed that Santa was real. I still wish he was. And I used to stay up really late every Christmas Eve to try and catch Santa. Not because I wanted to kill him or anything, I just wanted to give him a hug and tell him how grateful I was that he was giving me my presents. Most years I would fall asleep before my presents ever arrived, but one year I managed to stay awake, and so when I heard footsteps outside my bedroom door, I quickly pretended to be asleep and I still had my eyes very slightly open so I could catch Santa in the act. And that's when my dad walked in nothing but his underwear and dumped a sack of presents at the end of my bed. Let's just say I was mentally scarred. So the next morning on Christmas Day, I come downstairs for breakfast and I'm like, Mummy, why was Santa wearing blue Y-fronts? And my mum's like, you stayed up too late, didn't you? And I'm like, Santa's not real, is he? What next? Hogwarts isn't real? Don't you dare tell me Hogwarts isn't real. I refuse to believe you. And the final idea that I had when I was a kid was why the clouds move. And the final crazy idea I had as a kid turns out to not be so crazy because my mum also had the same idea when she was little. At some point we were sat down in school and told that the earth was constantly spinning, and I put my hand up when our teacher was telling us about this and I was like, is that why the clouds are moving? My teacher just looked at me like, no, but she never actually told me why the clouds were moving, so I refused to believe her. So yeah, I want to know your crazy childhood beliefs. Is there anything that you thought was real as a kid that turned out to not be real? I know a lot of people thought that if you ate the seeds of an apple tree was just going to grow in your stomach and come sprouting out your mouth. So if you have any similar stories, then post them down in the comments below. Alright guys, thanks for watching this week's video. If you liked it, don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you next Wednesday. Bye! Good lord, I was one messed up kid. That probably explains why I'm so messed up now. Excellent. There's a builder walking past and he's looking through the window. Hello. Go back to your business. I was never here. I'm just a figment of your imagination.